Hello fight fans, Mr. Rickster here with another talk video from outside the corner of fans' perspective. Going to talk a little bit about Dillian Whyte. A few days ago on TalkSport, he sort of called Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua out, saying that they hadn't responded and all that sort of thing. And then just to fast forward a little bit, Eddie Hearn sort of caught wind of the interview and then decided to say, oh, you know, I'll send a contract over, being that you've said that you'd actually fight him for the money that was offered. So the contract was sent over, but lo and behold, there ends up being some sort of problem with the contract. Now, Dillian Whyte has gone back onto TalkSport and basically turned around and said that there's a rematch clause in there that he doesn't like because it will tie him up for a year, and there's a few other bits and pieces in there as well which he wouldn't really elaborate on and wouldn't really discuss, but basically he said it's just holding it up. So at the minute he wants certain pieces of the contract taken out. Now Eddie Hearn already stated that he needs Dillian Whyte to get back quite fast on this, and it's already been well over 48 hours, so I don't really think that this is really going to go ahead. You know, it's we thought it was back on, but now it doesn't look like it's back on because obviously this rematch clause. But to elaborate on it a little bit, like Dillian Whyte for some reason seems to think that like he wants this sort of winner takes all. And what he means by winner takes all is whoever wins out of him and Anthony Joshua then go on to fight for the, you know, fight Deontay Wilder in Saudi Arabia for big money. Now, I don't know how Dillian Whyte and his team have got it in his head that even if he does beat Anthony Joshua, that skill challenge or Saudi Arabia, whoever you want to call them, I'm going to be interested in putting on Deontay Wilder. And Dillian Whyte is the main focus and interest has always been Anthony Joshua because what he brings to the table. Now, I'm not saying Dillian Whyte's not like a good boxer and, you know, he's got a good profile in his own right, but at the end of the day, he's not Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua brings in 4 times the numbers, and really the fight that people want to see is Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Now, as I say, I don't know how Dillian Whyte seems to just think that he's sort of just come up with this elaborate way of maybe trying to get a fight with Andy Ruiz or Deontay Wilder or Usyk or whoever it is. You know, obviously there's a lot of money being thrown around for this Saudi Arabia deal, so Dillian is somehow trying to get in on the action now. As I say, there's no mention of skill challenge promotions. You know, Saudi Arabia even mentioned anything about Dillian Whyte at all. But him and his team seem to think that, you know, if they can get this rematch clause taken out of the contract and they sort of just go straight through Anthony Joshua, maybe they can have a shot at the big dangling carrot that's hanging for come December. So that's his training thought behind it, but the reality is it's never going to happen. Even if he goes through him, the best possible scenario for him is that he does have a rematch with Anthony Joshua because 1, it's going to be more money. 2, it's probably going to be a bigger fight than the one that's potentially going to happen. And 3, there's no other fight out there or equation where they put Dillian Whyte in the top 4 boxers in the world. So that's where he finds himself. You know, like this. You know, the Saudis have looked at putting this mega fight together, and what they've looked at is who are the 4 top boxers. And unfortunately, Dillian Whyte doesn't fit in that equation. Even if he beats Anthony Joshua afterwards, he's still not going to go into that top 4 because it's not just about who you beat. It's your profile. It's what you bring to the table. And unfortunately, Dillian Whyte doesn't bring what Anthony Joshua brings to the table as a whole. So he's going to have to accept the fact that like he's just out of that sort of remit really. Now, can't blame the lad for trying. As I say, you know, he's just trying to like sort of just try and get what he can out of the remaining rounds or fights that he's just got left really. But bottom line is I can't see this going ahead now. It might go ahead if he just accepts the contract for what it is, but I don't think he's going to, because he's got a bigger picture, hasn't he? He's sort of looking beyond the Anthony Joshua fight really. And as I say, this, in a way, you could argue that this Saudi deal, this so-called mega fight that I'm trying to put on, he's holding things up really, because like the reality is I don't think Anthony Joshua, I'm not going to say he doesn't want it, but basically, you know, there's been a lot of rumours around that this Saudi Arabia deal is more or less finalised. Now, if this is finalised, you know, not all paths lead to Saudi Arabia. And what I mean by that is, if you're Anthony Joshua, you're not going to risk a fight against Dillian Whyte or any other risky opponent for that matter, because there's a huge amount of money waiting in December to fight Deontay Wilder. So, you know, I understand that, you know, from a trainer's point of view, so I'm talking about Derek James here, he probably wants to showcase what Joshua's been learning, and they want to put someone in front of him that he can just literally just obliterate, probably in 1 or 2 rounds, and then great, you know, and sort of put the hands up and say, everything that we've been working on in the gym, you've just seen. So, but that's not going to happen with Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte's going to be a lot tougher opponent, so really I don't really think they want it. And why would they, when this Saudi deal is more or less being finalised, and if it's for the sort of money that we've been told, then there's no way that they're going to want Dillian Whyte. So it don't matter what Dillian Whyte says at the end of the day and tries to do, it's immaterial, because it's not going to happen. You know, this deal for Deontay Wilder is you know, for Joshua is pretty, from what I've heard, is pretty much done. So they're going to find someone that, as I say, that he can just like sort of just completely just obliterate really in 1 or 2 rounds, and then that's even if you see him fight. I mean, I'll be surprised if you do. Same for Deontay Wilder. I don't, you know, there's rumours that he's fighting Andy Ruiz, but I can't see it. I really can't. You know, they're gonna wait, because why would they want to risk it? So I think Dillian Whyte's gonna have to go back to the drawing board, because this Anthony Joshua fight's not going to happen at all, even if he does agree to the contract. So drop your thoughts below, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts and what your comments are, and I'll catch you on the next video when we'll be ducking and diving, bobbing and weaving. Ciao for now.